Welcome to another video. As always, I will try and keep you informed at all times as to what is going to be happening, what is going on, so you can follow this transformation as you sit there, chill, unwind and relax. Now, this is the master ensuite. Currently back to bones. Now what we need to do is the insulation needs to go in between the stud, which is a metal stud that's been installed already in between here. They're loose, so they will need screwing in and fixing in, but that's fine. It makes it a lot easier for us as we're installing this Celotex insulation. So where we're at and what we've got going on is, here is going to be a 1.6 by 2.4 shower cubicle with an opening on the corner so that we can create a wall-to-wall bench floating. It will have LED lighting. The shower head will come out of the ceiling. So this wall, these new walls that are going up will go all the way up to the ceiling that's there with an upstand. So it's a step over into your showering area with a lineal drain hidden underneath the bench. So that's that section there. In front of the window, there will be a freestanding bath with a floor mounted mixer. Now over to this side, we're gonna have a his and hers basin with a floating countertop and a floating lower shelf. Above we'll have wall mounted basin, mixers and 2 vertical mirrors. Now, initially, we was going to keep this pocket open, but it's going to be better if we close that off and bring the wall and return it to this curved plaster wall. Reason for is that we can get it looking bang on symmetrical. There's also going to be a wall coming out there, so that internal measurement is going to be around 1800 wide. Then in this corner here, the stack pipe is on the opposite side to this wall. So our wall mounted toilet frame's going to go in there. And that's going to be the toilet section of this ensuite. Now, you've got to look beyond what it is at the moment, because obviously what it's going to be when it's finished is going to be completely different, but we'll get there. There's obviously first fix plumbing to do, first fix electrics to do. I've got to have a section of the floor up to get the wastes all connected and running right. Some of that insulation in that wall that's already been done has to come out so I can get the pipe work how I need it. So today is going to be a bit more of a planning day and making sure everything is going to work how it should. But follow along and let's get stuck in. Okay, so after a few hours of setting out and sort of getting a drawing as such in the space to visualize and tweak and make right, and then just run it all by the customer, that's what I've done now. So we never really had a drawing for this space. It was always here, that will go there, this will so. I don't like drawings, I'm going to be honest. I don't like drawings because the reality is the drawing is perfect. And when you get onto a job site, the space is not the same as a drawing, okay? So for me, I'd rather work the old school way, draw it out, measure on site, and you know everything's going to be all right. So our internal lines those are the internal dimensions of the enclosure. So our enclosure is going to be finished 1600 wide by 2.4 to that point. Now I've gave the customer an option whether to continue. Our opening is going to be from this point here, that line to that line. And what I suggested was maybe taking the corner off to give it a bit more of a, to get rid of the boxiness and just sort of have it on an angle there. So that's what we're going with there. The bath has all been mapped out. Central, we've got the bath filler at the back, centre to the window, and then obviously waste centralised to that. So the 1700 freestanding bath will sit approximately 400 mil away from the wall, and then the bath mixer will sit 200 mil off the wall. Then we come over to this point. Originally we was going to have the his and hers basins from this point to that faded line there. However, it leaves too much of a gap for the WC here. So now I've moved and gained 600 mil. I've moved it over 600 mil. And what we're going to do up this end, that leaves us around 1200 mil. We're going to have a set of doors to make storage cupboard from floor to ceiling. So that would be a nice touch, and just put some shelves in there and possibly illuminate that as well. Now, originally I put the pan central to the center line of the bath waste, just because my OCD does that. But looking at it, where I've drawn stud wall there, it's enough space to get by for the pan. Now the walls, I'm going to actually make 50 mil deeper. These stud walls, I'm going to make them 50 mil deeper, just so they finish past the line of the pan. I might even break that and make that 100 mil deeper, because the counter's going to be 470, 480, something like that. Might even be close to 500. I'm going to see what the projection is on the basin mixers first, to see how far away I can bring the basin, the actual basins that are going to sit on top of that counter. So I'm still yet to, but we've got side to side. In terms of depth, I may make that 100 mil deeper, because our boxing is going to be around 200 mil. But now looking at that, I might just centralise the toilet to the space that's going to be here, which isn't central to the bath, which ideally I'd like to do, just because then it's right in my head. But I might move that over just to gain that little bit more space and just close that gap up, and that'll finish that. But overall, today, I knew what today was. Today was going to be a planned day, and make sure the client's happy with position of everything. I've got some electrics to run, cables to run, for the electrician to do what he needs to do. So that's going to be tomorrow now. I'm going to shoot off and go and grab some materials, get some fittings, because I want to make a start at actually mounting the furniture, first fixing for the plumbing, should I say. But also I want to get some walls in, which I would like to do as well, so that I can get it to a stage where it can be plastered. The rest of the walls that are not going to be tiled, they're going to be plastered. So I want to get it all formed and ready for plastering. And if I can, get some first fixing done as well, because I'm working to a little bit of a deadline. So it'd be nice to make it all work out. But yeah, the planning stage is the most important. So before you get too carried away, you need to make sure everything's going to work. and everyone is happy. But there's quite a lot of insulating to do on those walls, so I need to get that done as well. So that's a priority. But it's very, very warm today. I will not spin the camera because I look an absolute state. Dripping, literally dripping. Right. See you on the next update.